Selfish football here. You got a fullback. Here, pause it. Look, fullback and a wide receiver. That's Jawan Jennings. That's a walk-in touchdown for either of them. And you throw it to the fullback instead of your wide receiver who gets paid to catch footballs. You know what that is? Selfish, non-winning, non-playoff football. And you know what else it is? It's non-TD parlay football. Cost me $1 million possibly, and that's why you're not in the playoffs, because you didn't throw it to the wide receiver.
That was Dave Portnoy, the founder of Barstool Sports, and someone who I'd describe as a perpetual frat boy that somewhere along the line developed an affinity for gambling, saying something absolutely asinine about the Niners-Lions game on Monday Night Football. And not only was Portnoy's rant nonsensical, it was the inspiration for this video. If you know anything about me or my channel, you know I love fullbacks. They're my favorite position in football. And to hear Portnoy say something so stupid about a fullback in the name of sports gambling, you know, maybe blowing a parlay, it just rubbed me the wrong way. So I wanted to make this video to show that what Portnoy is saying is absolute nonsense, that he has no idea what's actually going on the play, and that Purdy not only made a fine decision, he made the correct decision. So without further ado, let's go ahead, dive into the tape, and talk about what went down. All right, so taking a look at this play that is, as Dave Portnoy calls it, quote-unquote, selfish, we're going to go ahead and just watch the play here, and then we'll break it down. You bring Juszczyk in motion, send Debo on a motion, run a little play action. He's wide open. You hit him. Nothing but green in front of him. Fights through a few defenders at the end. Ends up in the end zone. Pretty self-explanatory. Pretty simple. Very simple concept. So, taking a look at the routes here, right? I'm using a new drawing tool, so if things get finicky, I apologize. So you've got Juszczyk here. It's going to be play action, so he's going to run up to the line and then cut back across. He's going to be your flat, right? Then you've got George Kittle, who is going to sell this inside and then cut back out, go up, run a bit of a clear out. You've got Jawan Jennings, the player that Portnoy clearly had money on. He very clearly had money on and wanted the ball to go to. He's going to cut across here. He's going to be your middle read. And then Debo, he's going to motion out, run towards the middle of the end zone. And then Gurendo, he's going to kind of get out into the backside of the play, right? So, what we have here is a sail concept. You have these three routes right here. This is what your QB is reading. Very simple concept. Run all of the time. There's a lot of variations of it, but this one's pretty simple. And with the way this play is ran, Kittle is going to end up being a clear out route. Like I said, he's going to cut inside and then turn it back upfield. His goal is to take care of the safety that is going to be in this area of the field. Take him out of the play. Now that safety has a decision. He can either play that deep or he can come downhill and play it. If he comes downhill and plays it, then Kittle's wide open for a touchdown. If he plays it deep, then Kittle's job is just to keep him deep, keep him out of the play. Then, like I said, you have Jawan Jennings running this route across the middle. And then you have Juszczyk. We're just going to make it a simple flat here for the sake of time. Those are your two reads. So once we actually get the play underway here, you'll see a little bit better what I'm talking about. So they send Debo in motion. And here you go. Kittle sells inside, and then he's going to cut across the face of this DB. And that DB is going to stay downfield. You know, he is out of the play at this point. Because if he tries to come downhill before Purdy throws this ball, then Kittle's wide open with a bunch of green grass. He's not going to risk that. George Kittle's one of the best tight ends in the league. You're going to stay on him and make sure you're doing your job. Rely on your teammates to do theirs. So Kittle's doing what he needs to do. He is successfully running the clear out route to open up for Juszczyk and Jennings. You snap this ball again. You see Jennings off rip here. He gets a little bit of a natural pick from the defense because of the play action, right? These two defenders are playing downhill, thinking that this is going to be a run to Gurendo. Jennings is cutting across the middle, and that is going to create separation or a bit of traffic here for 21, who's trying to stay in coverage, which means that Jennings is going to get passed off and have a little bit of separation. You see right here, he's going to get picked up by, I believe, it's either Brian Branch or Kirby Joseph. I saw a 3 on the jersey. I didn't see the other number. Either way, he's got a little bit of separation there. And you see, Purdy's looking that way. You know, he's got his eyes downfield. Jennings is where he wants to go. However, the key to this play ends up being, I believe, number 53 over here. This defender, I say believe because I can't quite tell the number. This defender right here is the key to the play. Whatever he plays, he has two choices. He can play Purdy or he can play Juszczyk. If he plays Purdy, then he has to throw it to Juszczyk, has to get the ball out. If he plays Juszczyk, he'll have enough time to hit Jennings. So what's going to happen is this defender is going to come downhill, and as soon as he steps out of Juszczyk's range, Purdy rips it. The second he's coming downhill, Purdy is throwing this ball to Juszczyk with a whole lot of green in front of him. That is exactly what you want out of this concept. It is executed perfectly. To a T, exactly how it's meant to be executed. Purdy plays this perfectly. It's 1st and 5 right now. You only need 5 to pick up a first down to move the sticks. He knows, okay, I can throw this to Juszczyk. At the very least, we're converting here. Maybe it's not the walk-in touchdown, but we're converting at least. And then Juszczyk, who, by the way, is the best player in the sport at his position. Like, undoubtedly. There's no one that compares. He is the best player in the sport at his position. And he gets paid for it. He doesn't get paid as much as Juwan Jennings, but he gets paid top fullback money, since Dave Portnoy is so worried about the money here. He's going to dump this to Juszczyk. Juszczyk's eyes are immediately upfield, and he sees a clear path to the end zone. Now Juwan Jennings is a blocker. He's got a 1-on-2, I should say. Not a great situation for him to be in. So he's going to try. 21 ends up slipping him. Brian Branch is behind him. And Juszczyk's going to fight his way into the end zone for the touchdown. Now I want you to see real quick. These players up here, all of the skill position players. Watch who the first guy to put his hands up is. Watch who the first guy to say, that's a touchdown. We scored. Watch who it is. Juszczyk crosses the pylon, or crosses the line, I should say, gets beyond the pylon. The first guy to throw his hands up is Juwan Jennings, number 15. Does this look like a guy that cares that he didn't just score a touchdown? Does it look like a guy that cares at all? No. He's happy his teammate just scored. Kyle Juszczyk doesn't get the ball very often, at least compared to Jennings. He's rooting for him. He's saying, hell yeah, my boy got one. Yeah, we're out of the playoffs. You know, it sucks, but my boy got one, and that's awesome. That's the opposite of selfish. That is selfless. You know who the most selfless player on the field is at any point for the 49ers? Kyle Juszczyk. He goes without recognition constantly. I cannot count the amount of times over the last couple years I have seen a graphic of people hyping up the Niners skill position players, and it's Debo, it's McCaffrey, it's Kittle, it's Brandon Ayuk, Juwan Jennings even gets lumped in there. Juszczyk never gets a mention, yet he's the only one of those guys who's unequivocally the best player at their position. Blows my mind. So if you're going to sit here and tell me that the fullback getting a touchdown is selfish football, you're out of your mind. Giving the most selfless guy on the field the ball is the most selfless thing you can do as a quarterback. And even if he didn't throw it to Juszczyk, right? Even if this was a different player, it's the correct read. He had a guy open. He played the concept correctly. He did the right thing. I'm sorry, Dave Portnoy, that you probably lost a couple $1,000s on your fucking your parlay. Guess what? You don't care. You're a millionaire. You have plenty of money. You're fine. Just because your greed gets in the way of your enjoyment of this sport doesn't mean that you have to spew bullshit on the internet to try to make people look bad or to try to stir up controversy. Anyways, folks, I hope you all enjoyed. Again, I don't have anything against sports gambling as a whole. I want to make that clear. Just not a big Dave Portnoy fan, not a big fan of people who think like him when it comes to sports. I think it is kind of tainting the product, ruining dialogue around it online, things like that. And I mean, really above all else, I just don't like Dave Portnoy. I could go on and on about how much I don't like Dave Portnoy for pretty obvious and public reasons. But, you know, I try to keep things relatively positive on this channel, so I'm not going to dive into that. You know, this is a bit of a different step from my usual content, so don't worry, this isn't going to become the norm, me calling people out. I don't love doing it. I just feel like Dave Portnoy is kind of an exception, you know? So, yeah, I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Just know anyone in the comments defending Dave Portnoy or, anything like that, you're just getting ignored. I'm not feeding into your bullshit. I have no interest in dealing with Barstool fanboys. Y'all are of weird I don't fuck with. But, anything else, I will happily interact with comments. I love answering comments. And above all else, I hope you all have a wonderful day, evening, night, afternoon, whatever time of day it is for you. I hope you enjoy it because you're all wonderful people and you truly do deserve it.
Had a chance on the throwback. This was an ill-advised throw. What an unbelievable catch by Cole Kmet. And he cups it too. No movement when he hits the ground, tucked up against his shoulder. Wow.
Using that